Miami is excitement. And the Miami Dolphins are part of that excitement. Number 12, Bob Greasy, is the essence of Dolphins style, dash, and youthful exuberance. Greasy is one of pro football's finest young quarterbacks, a magician in cleats, a sleight-of-foot escape artist who leaves his pursuers mystified. Halfway through 1969, Bob Greasy finally ran out of ways to turn, and his agony mirrored that of an entire team. For the 1969 Miami Dolphins, what very well might have been a year of accomplishment was transformed into something else. Years in, vital performers like Greasy and receiver Jack Clancy had been confined to the sidelines by injury. 1969 became a cruel test as names like Mitchell, Twilley, Moreau, and Cox were scratched from the roster for the season. In all, 26 players missed one game or more because of injury. This decimation was far removed from the optimism of an early season Orange Bowl night game against the Oakland Raiders. 2 weeks previously, the Raiders had slipped by Miami 20-17 on a last-second field goal, but this time Bob Greasy wasted no time in activating his offense. Once again, the Dolphins matched strengths with the eventual Western Division champions before falling behind in the fourth quarter. However, this time it was Miami who furnished the last-second heroics as Carl Crimser's field goal denied Oakland a win and proved Miami's ability to challenge the league's best. After facing Oakland twice in the span of 3 weeks, Miami needed a breather. What they got was a team of Super Chiefs in Kansas City. Miraculously, Miami's Jimmy Warren ran down swift Otis Taylor, but the world champions had a solution for every problem. The score stood 17-0 before the Dolphins erupted to life. They released a capsule of mercury named Morris, and he returned kicks for over 200 yards. The incredibly quick West Texas State rookie shifted gears 3 times on a slant into the end zone. But time ran out on the Dolphins' rally 17-10. Miami had played well against the league's best teams, but still did not have a victory. What they needed was a trip home. Miami fans displayed their faith in the Dolphins by turning out in style for the Buffalo game and dedicating this day as Victory Sunday. The spirit was infectious, and the Dolphins did their part by springing to life in patented Bob Greasy fashion. Greasy threw for 2 long scores. The first to tight end Larry Seipel. Then he outmaneuvered a blitzing Buffalo defensive back and launched Jim Kick on an amazing journey into the end zone. By game's end, the offense had contributed 24 points to the Victory Sunday fun. The defense had made it a reality by holding the Bills without a touchdown. Miami defense had become a rugged ball-hawking machine through the leadership of a newcomer whose name filled an entire back. In the Buffalo game and throughout the season, it was Nick Buoniconti who keyed the defensive assault. By experience and example, he molded a group of talented young individuals into a unit and became their leader. For this, he was named Miami's most valuable player. He retained the individual brilliance that had 6 times marked him as the league's outstanding middle linebacker. And despite recurring knee problems, he still possessed the mobility to bring down a fleet receiver from behind. With Buoniconti in the middle, the Miami linebacking corps became a team strength. On the left flank was number 55, Randy Edmonds, a second-year pro with an instinct for seeking out the ball carrier. Number 51, Ed Wyzakowski, patrolled the right side with the same kind of success. He was rugged enough to plug a run like a defensive end, yet agile enough to cover a receiver like a cornerback. The defensive line was led once again by robust Manny Fernandez, number 75. The brute-strong free agent from Utah was able to crush a running play with one Herculean fist. And powerful enough to buffet aside a double team on his path to the passer. Joining Fernandez in 1969 was Bill Stanfield, a rookie who refused to conform to established norms. Who could expect a rookie defensive end to intercept a pass and return it for a touchdown? Stanfield did it twice. Who could expect a rookie defensive end to step in, face a pro sweep, and stop it? Stanfield did it all season. Free safety Dick Anderson, number 40, has earned himself a reputation in only 2 seasons. He's known in the business as a sticker. At cornerback, Miami pulled a 16th round draft choice out of the hat, and number 26, Lloyd Mumford, proved to be the biggest bargain of the year. Altogether, the Miami defense became an aggressive, belligerent, gang-tackling horde with the ability to hold their own against the best. The best was exactly what they faced next in Joe Namath and the Jets. On this cold, windswept autumn afternoon in Shea Stadium, Namath was on his game, and the Jets struck quickly. Miami countered with a number 12 of its own, and Bob Greasy did not suffer by the comparison. Greasy threw for a team record of 4 touchdowns, and Jim Kick belted out over 100 yards rushing. The action raged back and forth. The lead changed hands 5 times, and with time running out, both efforts were equal. The game was in the balance and waiting for a deciding break. In 1969, Miami and the Breaks could not seem to get together. A blocked punt gave Jim Turner a shot at 3 points, and for the 4th time, the Dolphins had been defeated by less than a touchdown. Joe Namath and company came away with the victory, but Jim Kick and the Miami offense had proved that they were capable of matching points with anyone. The rock-ribbed Kick is a former Wyoming cowboy whose rough-hewn running style is complemented by a sure pair of hands. When inside the 10, Kick seeks out the goal line with a vengeance. Kick led the league in rushing touchdowns with 9 and did not miss a game despite a constant battering which left his arms swathed in bandages. Blocking for Kick on many of his touchdowns was an equally rugged running mate, Larry Zonka. Number 39 overcame early season head injuries to recover his distinctive brand of power, a power which takes on an entire team. Power which turns a broken play into a 15-yard gain. A power which leads to fearful collisions. Collisions in which Zonka usually deals out the punishment. While the backs produced their excitement in the open, the offensive line grappled in the mud and obscurity of the trenches. Veteran center Tom Good was named the line's outstanding performer. Larry Little earned a starting position. Norm Evans came back from injury. Maxie Williams was another steady veteran. And and young Doug Crusan continued to improve. When healthy, this blend of improving youth and stable veterans began to show the coordination of a top pro offensive line. At the beginning of the season, punter Larry Seipel's contact work was limited to roughing the kicker penalties. As injuries mounted, Seipel found himself involved more directly in the action. But Larry Seipel proved to be a highly adaptable athlete. He began the season as the team's punter, and he ended it as the Dolphins' leading receiver as well. With Seipel filling in so ably, the line gelling, and Greasy, Kick, and Zonka performing at peak efficiency, the offense seemed ready to face any test. Even if that test was to take on the Boston Patriots and a monsoon simultaneously. A week-long rain made simply arriving at the game a cause for celebration. While the preliminary show consisted of some not-so-dry humor, the game itself was pure slapstick. What may have looked funny from the stands was something less than humorous for the Dolphins from sunny Florida. Yet, despite the muck and chill, Miami was playing winning football as a swarming rush prompted a Boston pass to Bill Stanfill. The problem of momentum was much tougher for the Dolphin offense, which had to mount an attack in shoe-top mud. But with Stanfill's touchdown as stimulus, Carl Crimser surfaced long enough to kick a much sought-after field goal. Larry Zonka practices his theory of the shortest distance between 2 points, no matter what the field conditions. The jubilant Dolphins had their second victory in the last 3 games. However, what should have been a celebration was transformed into a wake. Nick Bonaconti and Lloyd Mumford were lost for several games, and Bob Greasy would not play again in 1969. The casualty list had finally caught up with Miami, but luckily, the Dolphins possessed the healing qualities of youth. Youth as personified by one Eugene Mercury Morris, a water bug runner who opened the season with a 105-yard kickoff return and spent the rest of the year proving that it had not been a fluke. Morris and number 28 Gene Milton, another young speedster, gave the Dolphins one of the fastest duos in football. Youth, however, is synonymous with inexperience, and inexperience is synonymous with mistakes. At last, the mistakes, the injuries, and the three-point losses collided, and in the span of a few short weeks, the Miami Dolphins suffered the frustrations of a lifetime. Despite the odds, the Dolphins refused to fold, and they rebounded with fervor against the Denver Broncos. It was now someone else's turn to stumble. It was now someone else's turn to feel a bit frustrated. Bob Greasy in street clothes, Rick Norton had taken over at quarterback. Against the Broncos, he fired the Dolphin offense back to life, using former Kentucky teammate Larry Seipel as the spark. Seipel caught 2 touchdown passes, and Carl Crimser set a Miami field goal record with his 12th and 13th of the season. After a year of ill fate, the Dolphins at last discovered that they, too, like a winning team, had a solution for every problem. A well-earned and satisfying 27-24 win had given Miami the hope and impetus to shape a different season in 1970. The Dolphins are an extremely young team with an average age of only 24 years. In 1970, this youth will be enhanced by experience. The defense will begin its second year of instruction under the tutelage of Maestro Bonaconti. In 1970, they will be ready for the New York Jets and the Baltimore Colts. Bob Greasy will be healed once again to scramble and throw. And in 1970, he will have a brand new receiver. Paul Warfield is a superstar of the highest magnitude. His speed, grace, and courage will give the Dolphins one of pro football's most potent air attacks. In 1970, a season ticket will be the passport to a year of restored health, of matured talent, of a new conference, and of a receiver named Warfield. In 1970, frustration will give way to fulfillment, and the mask of agony will be replaced by the face of victory.